Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to my channel. My name is Luis Portelles, and for today's video, we have a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks. And I am beyond excited for today's episode because finally, after 2 years of virtual events, Miss Earth is finally back with a bang. Of course, and the pageant this year is going to be adopting a hybrid mode, which will give us pageant fans the best of both worlds. For that event, I have a very special guest. Guessing by the title of the video, you guys know that we have here today Miss Jenny Ramp, who is our reigning Miss Philippines Earth 2022. Jenny has a very important task this year because she is not only aiming for the fifth crown of Miss Earth for the Philippines, but simultaneously she has the task to welcome all of the eco warriors in the Philippines as well as being the host country. So I invite you all to join us today during our conversation so that you can get to know Jenny a little bit better, so you can support her on her journey. And also, if you want to spread the word about our conversation, don't forget to hit the like button, to subscribe to the channel, and of course, to be part of the comment section down below. So, you guys, I won't keep you waiting much longer. I know that you want to see Jenny, so I will see you with Jenny right after the intro. All right, now everyone, please give it up. A warm welcome for Miss Jenny Ramp.
Hello to
Oh.
everyone watching.
Welcome, my dear. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. I'm so happy to be here. So, thank you so much for inviting me to this interview. Before we start, I just want to say that during my preparations during Miss Earth Philippines, I would
Yes.
actually watch your interviews with
Oh.
the other Philippine pageant queens as well, especially the last Miss Universe. I would watch that because it's so important to learn from these queens and to see the communication skills, how they communicate and connect with others. And I just want to say that you're such an amazing interviewer, pageant vlog. And I was like, wow, especially when you did a reaction video and during the Miss Philippines,
Yes.
I was actually very shy to watch it. I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, what if you say something mean?
Never, never, never. But I mean, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means, first of all. And second of all, I mean, the fact that you even watch my videos makes me feel so kilig. So thank you. And I am equally excited to have you here today. So
Oh, I was super feeling too, to have an reaction video and also to have this interview. So thank you so much for this chance.
of course, my absolute pleasure, Jenny. And you are so welcome here. So feel like home, please.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. And before we start, I just want to acknowledge our viewers very quickly. We already have 25 people joining us and sending us message in the chat. So thank you guys for your patience. We were having a little bit of a technical issue, but we made it,
Yeah.
we survived, and here we are to give you a show.
Yes. Survivors. Hello to everyone watching and good morning to everyone, to the Philippine audience.
Perfect. So, Jenny, just let me ask you. I mean, it's been a few weeks since you were officially crowned as Miss Philippines Earth. So, how are you doing? What is your state of mind as of right now, since Miss Earth is just approaching?
Yeah, so because it was so recent, I had just a few months to prepare. So this is what's left me in such a fiery mood. It's what kept the passion burning at the same time. And ever since I was crowned, I already started my preparations.
Mhm.
And even until now, every single day I'm doing something for Miss Earth, whether it's an interview or a shoot or Q&A training, pastorela training. There's always something undergoing, and this is really making me the best version of myself for the competition.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that I wanted to ask you, right? So, we're only just a few moments away, like a few days away of the actual activities of Miss Earth beginning. The delegates will start also arriving in the Philippines. So, how do you prepare, like mentally and physically, for this? It must be like something that I mean, you were literally preparing for this moment for so long, and now it's finally here.
Yes, time really goes by so fast with a blink of an eye. It's already here. Already by next month, November, the coronation is going to happen, and a new queen will be announced. So it's so exciting. It really teaches you to make the most out of every moment because
Mhm.
before you know it, we're going to be there on stage, or starting this month actually, we're going to have our virtual activities as well. So it's something so that we're all really looking forward to, something that we're preparing for as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure you're gonna do amazing. So we are excited for all of that. So, Jenny, for the people who are watching us, I mean, and even for those who will rewatch the live stream right after we are done, um, can you like introduce yourself a little bit for those who maybe are not just as familiar yet? Who is Jenny? What do you do? What are some of your passions? Just so that we can get an overall idea of who you are.
Yes, well, hello to everyone. My name is Jenny Ram. I am 19 years old. I'm a second year BS psychology student at Holy Angel University, and I am Filipino American. So my father is American, and my mom is Filipina. And I moved here in the Philippines around 5 years ago. And ever since then, I've been trying to fully grasp the Filipino culture. And because it's so much that there's so much differences from growing up in the States and here in the Philippines. And I'm so thankful because pageantry and, because it's such a powerhouse, the
Yeah.
Philippines, the pageantry. And just through that, through like the little ways, I'm able to learn more about the Filipino people. And that was the first time that I even tried some things, and I visited some places as well for the first time. And so I'm really grateful for all of these experiences. And something else about me is before I did pageantry, last 2020, I was actually a model. So I was in this industry for quite a while, but I wanted to meet new people and gain new experiences and try pageantry. So that's why I'm here.
Absolutely. Oh, that's such an interesting background. I didn't know that you actually lived in the US for a while and then you moved to the Philippines. What was the biggest shock that you had, let's say, like moving from one country to another?
Wow, it would have to be so much, like the holistic change of the environment. Wow, it was so shocking. And, even until now, I still find myself adapting, still fitting in as well, finding my people here in the Philippines. So it's a huge culture shock just
Yeah,
moving, especially when you're a teenager. I was a teenager at that time, that's why. So it was so different for me.
absolutely. I can only imagine. And now look at you. I mean, fast forward 5 years after you moved to the Philippines. Now, at 19 years old, you are holding the national title of one of the most important pageants in the world. How does that make you feel in terms of pressure?
Yes, the pressure is on. Not only because it's such a big title, but also because I'm carrying the Philippines. So there's always a lot of expectations for the Philippine candidates
Yeah,
because we have so much to offer. We're really on top of our game all the time in any pageant. And so, the pressure is on, but I am taking it with open arms. I am so excited and it's preparing me to be my best.
yes, absolutely. One of the things that you mentioned earlier was your experience during the Miss Philippines Earth pageant, the national pageant, because as you said, this is your first experience. So when you think back to those days where you were actually competing for the crown that now you hold, what are some of the things that come to mind when you think about that competition?
Yes, well, I remember that time since I'm so young, and that was my first national pageant here in the Philippines, I always felt like all odds were against me because I was actually one of the youngest candidates that time.
Mhm.
Because I'm only 19, and there was only one more candidate that was 19. But I'm actually happy to say that now in Miss Earth, the international candidates, there's a lot of young young candidates as well, just like me. But anyway, that's why I sometimes felt at a disadvantage because there were people who are more experienced. Some of them actually did Miss Philippines Earth twice.
Mhm.
And for me, for this my first time, while at a young age, I was a bit rattled. But then I realized that everything truly happens for a reason, and
Mm.
I was meant to be there.
Yes, of course. Sometimes it's just in your path, and it's only a matter of time before things happen, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So you mentioned as well that you had already some experience in modeling when you first got into pageantry. For those out there, who still have some misconceptions about pageantry, what would you say is the biggest difference between being a model and being a beauty queen?
Yes, well, although they might seem very similar at first, it's the glitz and glamour, they are really so different. And I did not expect that difference at all, because I'm very used to the early call times working with other people, but pageantry is a whole different ball game. It really takes so much of your energy and effort. And
Hmm.
it's definitely a collaborative effort. It takes a village, as they say. So you really have to be open to new ideas, to all of the tiredness that you're going to be experiencing as well. But I think both fields should be respected because they're such amazing and they're really good for the creative industry as well. So
Hmm.
I really admire them both.
Absolutely. I think that both fields are very different, as you said. And I also agree that each one has its own challenges. Um, but being a beauty queen, in a way, is also about being an ambassador, right? Of your country, of your culture, of your values. So I think that that's like the main thing. And you are doing all of those things incredibly. So just
Thank
keep doing what you are
you.
doing. Um, Earlier, we were talking about the pressure, right? Not just because, as we said, Miss Earth is one of the biggest pageants in the world, but simultaneously because you are representing one of the countries with the biggest sash factor in the world. Yes. How do you, let's say, prepare to try your best to live up to that expectation? Let's say.
Well, I'm very lucky since we are one of the countries with the biggest SASH factors that there's so many resources and there's so much people willing to help and extend a helping hand because we truly love our pageantry here in the Philippines. So there's all these experts and trainers as well, and they're so just willing because they want the Philippines to be the best that they can be because we're very prideful and so they want to share their talents as well. And as I say this, I think of my training camp, which is KF, because before joining this, I had no idea about anything about pageantry. But then they welcomed me into their camp, and then until now, they're training me. I was actually with them a few days ago training, and we're gonna do a lot more in the future.
Yes, absolutely. I can only imagine. And as the pageant gets closer, I'm guessing that your schedule is going to be hectic to say the least.
Yes, definitely. I am mentally, physically preparing for the schedule, but I'm also very excited because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity at the same time. So it's something to be grateful for.
Of course, I agree with you. I really like something that you just mentioned right now because it actually links my next question. I was going to ask you, since this position that you're in right now is so demanding, both physically and mentally, how do you make sure that you find the right balance, right? Between delivering what the people expect and protecting yourself at the same time, like being kind to yourself.
Yes, well, I believe that life is all about balance. It truly is. Because at the same time, I want to deliver everyone's expectations, but
Mhm.
then it might also hurt me because I'm very active in reading comments. And there's a lot of positive comments, but with the positive also comes the negative.
Mhm.
So it's important to filter out. But as a beauty queen, what's most important is to take the criticism constructively because there is something to learn about it. So if there's anything negative, just ignore that, try to block it out of your head. I talk about it with my team so I could let it out at the same time. And I always take away the lesson because there's always going to be one in any situation.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. So, of course, coming from the Philippines, another one of the things is that at the moment, the Philippines holds four crowns for Miss Earth, and you are trying to bring back home the fifth one. Have you received any
Mm.
feedback from like previous title holders, whether it's Miss Earth winners or Miss Philippines Earth previous title holders? Has anyone given you some advice, some tips?
Yes, it's so funny that you'd say that because actually just last night, one of our Miss Earth title holders, she actually messaged me because she saw my post
Uh-huh.
and she liked it, and then she DM'd me after that saying, "Good luck in the Miss Earth competition." We all are rooting for you. And if you need anyone to talk to, you can reach out to me. And that was actually Jamie Harrell.
Oh,
So, they're so kind. And when I attended the Philippine pageant ball a few days ago, I saw Karen Abasco. And
mhm.
that was my second time seeing her since the coronation night of Miss Philippines Earth. And
Yes.
that time, she even asked me, "How are you? How's your preparations? Are you preparing the best that you can?" And I was like, "Yes, I can." So these Miss Earth queens, they're just so kind and they're so loving, and I could really feel their support.
Yes, of course. That's something that I really love about, I mean, beauty queens, but more precisely, beauty queens from the Philippines as well. They're very nurturing. They're very motherly with young queens. They want to make sure that they
Yeah,
feel ready, that they feel supported, that they feel the love.
that's so true.
Yes, of course. One of the things, I mean, actually, I'm just gonna say the interview is going great so far. Every time that you answer, you kind of create a link to my next answer, so to my next question. So I really love that. So, since everyone is giving you tips and advice and making sure that you are in the right, mindset for the competition, what is something that you're looking forward to during the Miss Earth competition? But what is it that makes you feel more excited?
Okay, I am a big fan of traveling. It's actually a hobby that my family has ever since I was younger. We love to travel all around the world. But to be honest, here in the Philippines, I've only visited a few places. And it's kind of weird because, I live here, but I am thankful to say that I visited Boracay, Coron, Lanao, some of these beaches. But because Miss Earth, our advocacy is about ecotourism. And since we're the host country, we're going to be showcasing the ecotourism here in the Philippines. And there are so many provinces that are collaborating with Miss Earth, also the Department of Tourism. And all of these candidates are going to be able to see the beauty of these provinces.
Mm.
And I can say right now that I know that I will be visiting, I know the three provinces that I will be visiting. And so I'm so excited, but I think there will be more because there's so much provinces that are excited to welcome these candidates, international candidates. And so I'm so excited to visit these places for the first time, even though it's just here in the Philippines.
Mhm.
And I think that is my hometown advantage because I could even communicate with them deeply, in Tagalog because we are Filipinos. And if ever I want to go back to those places, I know that I can.
Absolutely. It's gonna mean, I mean, it's a win-win situation. You are living like the dream of so many girls, like you're competing at Miss Earth. Simultaneously, you are promoting amazing causes and awareness about, our Mother Earth. And simultaneously, you will get to discover your country. So, how to be you?
Right. How do you? Oh my god.
I love it. Now, talking a little bit more, we said like what makes you feel more excited. What is like the competition or the category at Miss Earth that makes you feel a little bit more nervous?
Oh, let's see. Well, feel nervous. I would have to maybe say about the our runway competitions because
Okay.
I know that Pasarela, that's my weak spot, but I am training so much, especially with my camp at KS,
Yes.
to become better at it and to showcase that because Q&A, I don't want to feel nervous for those
Yes.
because I know at the end of the day that's about my opinion and how I express it. So Q&A is something that I always look forward to, something that I really enjoy because this is also my opportunity to shine at the same time and to share with people my beliefs and my opinions. So I'm always looking forward to Q&A. I so that's why I would have to say something that's nerve wracking to me would be the runway.
Which is perfectly fine because I mean, as you mentioned, first of all, you are with KF. So already what that means is you are in really, really great hands. Look, you are with a team of professionals that are there to support you. And I even remember one of the things that I mentioned during my reaction video that I made to your full performance is that I mentioned she has time. That's like an advantage that she
Yes,
has. She was crowned back in August. Was it that you were crowned in beginning of
Yes,
August?
it was in August.
Beginning of August, she will have time to prepare to really, go through all of the different things that are expected of her. And I'm pretty sure that at the end, when you actually have to compete, you will be spot on. So no need to be nervous.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, I think that that's also one of the things that it's important during the competition because as the competition gets closer, more people will give you feedback, more people will give you,
Yes.
comments. Sometimes they will give some critique about different aspects, right? It can be the walk, it can be the looks, the social media, the way that you express yourself. And of course, sometimes you have to be selective with the things that you incorporate, right? So at the moment, how do you manage like public opinion? Let's call it that. How do you manage the public opinion and sometimes the unsolicited feedback that you get from the outside world?
Yes. Well, especially in the pageant industry, because some people are just so cutthroat with
Yeah,
their opinions and with what they say. That's why it's important to grow a thicker skin,
yeah,
because you can't let this distract you or affect your performance. Because if it does get to you, then you're not going to be your best self. You're going to be feeling a bit foggy, a bit distracted, because you're so worried about what other people think. So
mhm,
just know that from what they said, you could take something positive away from it. At least these people are paying attention to me. At least they are interested in the first place. And then take what they have to say constructively, take it to improve yourself. Because
yeah,
sometimes as a beauty queen, it is draining. And you're like, wow, I'm trying my best. And then these people are not giving me a break, you know? And there are instances for some beauty queens who are, I would say, cautionary tales, especially one of our Miss Universe Philippines. There was a time when she let the comments get to her too much,
mhm,
and she thinks that it greatly affected her performance. And so
yes.
whenever I tell my team about these comments, they always remind me of this queen, and they're like, "Don't be like her. Don't read the comments. Don't let it affect you." And I was like, "Yes, yes."
Yes, exactly. I think that the best advice that I can give you when it comes to the competition or anything is really to protect your peace. You're going to be in a position where there's a lot that is going to be required from you mentally, physically, and you have to be really in the best possible mindset to be your best self, right? Um, so I would say if you know that certain comments might get to you or might make you feel a certain way during the competition, don't read it, or ask someone from your team to maybe help you handle the social media stuff, because the most important thing is that you are at the top of your game when it's necessary, right? Don't be scared to establish your boundaries. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. And sometimes people say, oh, like acting this way is not like a queenly behavior or queenly that, but being a queen is really being unapologetically yourself and protecting yourself. So if you're able to do that,
So true.
okay. Perfect. Um, so in terms of training, what has been your focus? You mentioned earlier that, of course, you're working with KF for the pasarela. How do you tackle, like, for example, like preparing for Q&A and studying as well? Because I'm guessing that for Miss Earth, there's a lot of studying involved in the preparation.
Yes, there definitely is. It's why some people say that Miss Earth is one of the hardest pageants because you really have to study a lot about the global events. Sometimes not even just about the environment, but also what's going on around the world because it's so important to stay updated. And especially about environmental topics, there's a lot of science behind it. So you really have to make sure that what you say is fact-based, that you aren't spreading the wrong information because that would look very bad.
Can you imagine?
Yes, especially as a missile. So that's why there's a lot of studying behind it. And at the same time, you also have to improve your communication skills, um, the overall holistic training that a beauty queen has to take. But as Miss Earth, it's really extra because we also want to focus on environment, not just here in the Philippines, but worldwide. So
Yes.
yes, just besides my pastorela training, also the Q&A, I've had some sessions as well. And even at KF, they also provide me a Q&A trainer. So I'm really working so hard.
Thank you. Making sure that our queen is ready.
Yes.
We love. So, of course, but when it comes to this question, I'm not gonna put you on the spot because I know that the girls like to keep the secrets until the last moment. But can you just tell me, in terms of, let's say, like the gowns, the national costume, and the looks that you're going to deliver during the pageant, is everything ready? Do you have your concepts? Do you know already what everything is gonna look like without revealing anything, of course?
Yes. Well, I'm happy that you asked this because I just filmed my national costume and my fauna attire recently, like just 2 days ago. So yes, I filmed it in Santa Ignacia Tarlac, where I represented in Philippines Earth. So I went back to my roots and I filmed it there. And so I filmed it in a rice field. And this can give you a little hint of what my costume may be. But yeah, at the same time, it's not allowed yet to explain. But also with my gown, they are being made, and I'm going to be having my fittings real soon. But I'm really happy because I always get to collaborate with my ideas. So my part
Yeah.
is I have a lot of freedom on what I want, what I think flatters me. So I'm very grateful for my team for that.
I'm so excited. You're gonna look amazing. And personally, I mean, like,
You,
I make videos about pageants and I talk about everything and I talk with the beauty queens and all, but as a fan myself, I am so excited for Miss Earth this year. Ever since I became a pageant fan, can you believe this is the first time that Miss Earth will be taking place, like an actual like physical pageant since I discovered pageantry. So I am so excited.
wow, yes. So I'm sure your expectations will be very high for us.
Yes, but at the same time, as you said, I feel like personally, right, Miss Earth is such a different pageant from all of the other ones. Like in terms of advocacy, in terms of purpose, I think that if it's not like the most, relevant one for me, it's really up there. So I'm guessing that it's gonna be like an incredible show, beautiful ladies, and lots of, you know, um, great stuff for the earth and for the environment. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yes.
Perfect. And before we can continue going with the interview, I just want to invite our viewers. If you guys have any questions that you would like to ask here, our guest, Miss Jenny Ramp, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and in the live chat, and I'll go through some of the questions with her later on during the interview. But I wanted to talk to you in the meantime while they type, Jenny. I wanted you to tell us a little bit about your advocacy, one of the most important things at Miss Earth. So, what are you doing this year? What is your entire project?
Yes, well, during the Philippines Earth, my advocacy was educating everyone, especially the youth and the marginalized sector, about environmental sustainability. And this time, as a representative of the Philippines, I'm taking another route, and my advocacy is for the farmers because the Philippines is an agricultural country. And so it's very important to appreciate these farmers who sometimes don't get appreciated, sometimes they aren't supported. And that's why we really have to extend a helping hand towards them because they provide us the basic necessities, our
Hmm?
food. And it's so important, especially for food security for the country. And um, I think everyone really needs this, and we really need to appreciate them, especially as Filipinos. It comes in our blood. It comes in our culture, and that's why I really want to focus on that this time.
Absolutely. And one of the things, I remember watching some of your videos back in the day during the Miss Philippines Earth competition, talking about your advocacy and also reading some articles about it. But I wanted to ask you, ever since your coronation moment at Miss Philippines Earth, how have you been working with the organization when it comes to your advocacy? What have you done so far?
Yeah, so that's why I'm so lucky because this organization is so hands-on, and and they still have so much planned for me and scheduled for me. So always, frequently we have tree planting events. We have some events about environmental talks and webinars, And I'm so happy because this is a chance for us to showcase our advocacy here at Miss Earth. And it's our time to inspire and motivate the audience about these environmental causes.
Mm, absolutely. Perfect. Thank you so much. In your opinion, what is the best way to create more awareness when it comes to, I mean, to your advocacy, of course, but also like overall, like environmental awareness? Because I feel like sometimes people might be a little, let's say, intimidated by the size of the issues, right? There are so many things going on our planet right now that it feels like we cannot do anything ourselves individually. So, what is the best way to approach people and let them know, hey, this is how you can make a difference?
Yeah, so being in this modern age, I think the best way to raise awareness is through social media. We definitely have to utilize this tool that technology has given us. And we definitely have such an advantage being from this digital age, tech savvy. And there's so much ways for us to reach out to other people, especially because of social media. There's so many platforms, so many like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. In these ways, we're able to create content of this awareness about environmental issues at the same time. And you'd be surprised how many people actually aren't aware or aren't knowledgeable on these things. That's why we really have to take advantage on these platforms that everyone uses so often. They spend so much time there. So this is the greatest time and chance for us to do that.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you so much. I agree with you. I actually remember when I first started doing interviews with Miss Philippines Earth girls, but also just like Miss Earth candidates as well. I remember like leaving those interviews feeling like I gained so much knowledge because you girls are so good at making things that are so complex. And as I said, that sometimes you feel like you cannot change anything like individually. You guys are so good at just giving us like tools and ways to make a difference, whether it's in our homes, in our localities, in our workplaces. So thank you so much for spreading the information.
Yes, of course.
So, Jenny, I want to address some of the questions here in the chat just to make it a little interactive with the viewers. And then I have a little game for you. Okay, so we're going to have some fun. um, okay, so I like this one. This is from our friend and collaborator for the show as well, Salvatore. He helped me
Hi.
come up with some of the questions for today. So, Salvatore is asking you, a lot of photos on your social media are focused on planting trees. Why is this important to you?
Yes, well, as a Miss Earth, this is one of our ways to share our advocacies and our cause. And planting trees is definitely so important in saving our environment and having that green thumb. And by when I share it on social media, this is because I really want to inspire others and I want to inspire my audience, my followers to also do the same thing as well. Because when they see you doing this thing, they will remember it and they will want to also do it as well. And that's something that we really have to advocate for: planting trees, go against deforestation as well, which is something similar because it's about trees. So we really have to focus on these things. We really have to do our best because more and more forests are being cut down, unfortunately. So let's continue to battle against this. Let's continue to plant trees as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. We have another question here from our loved Lionel.
Yes, Linda, how do you
Hello, hi, Boo. So, can you
know?
tell us, can the marginalized sector choose green ways given their financial capacity? Good question.
Yes, it's a very good question. Thank you, Linda. So I believe that there's always going to be a choice. It does not matter where you come from because this is their responsibility as citizens, as human beings on this planet Earth. And so they could choose greenways. And at some times, these greenways are even cheaper and more affordable than ways that we're used to. For example, instead of just going to the mall and buy clothes, we can shop. Here in the Philippines, we call it ukay ukay,
Yeah.
which is pre-loved clothes. So it's a lot cheaper. And in ways like this, you could see that it will actually help them with the finances as well. So I believe that it's always a choice. It's something that we really have to try harder towards.
Mm, absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, she's ready for the crown, everyone. Just bring the crown now. Perfect. Um, okay, let me ask you here. Mm, 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 mm. Which choices? Okay, I like this question. Okay, so this is from our friend of the channel. Uh, Tito Rafa is here. So, Critical Beauty Salon is asking you, are you mindful of your food choices based on the environment? Hmm.
Yes, what some people don't know is that their diet and food choices greatly affect the environment. This is because the meat industry and these factories, they really um, cause a lot of air pollution because of all of these machinery going on. So from this, I tried to eat less meat. I really cut down on my meat and more on veggies so that I'm not harming the environment as well. Because although it's something so little, it's just food, but it has a great impact towards the environment as well. So
Yes.
I also want to encourage everyone else to also be mindful in what you eat. Let's try to cut down on our meat because it really does greatly harm the environment.
Yes, of course. I approve. I approve that message.
Yeah.
Okay, last question from the audience. And I think that this is a very interesting one because sometimes we hear, people coming up with conspiracy theories and stuff. So I want to get your opinion about this one. This one is coming from Salvatore as well. Is it an advantage to be the hometown girl in the Miss Earth? So I'm guessing that he's asking, like, being the host country, do you think that there is an advantage being the host country in the pageant?
Well, I think that there definitely is an advantage being the host candidate because I won't feel homesick. That's a plus for me. I just here in my country. And I also know that if ever I'm low on resources, maybe I might need more clothes or anything, I know that I could just call my team and they could bring it to me. So, in these little ways, there are advantages. But at the same time, one of the biggest advantages is that during these activities, I'll be able to communicate with some people. Um, for example, the other employees, I could communicate them in Tagalog as well.
Yes.
And I could even help translate to the other candidates. Maybe they will have problems with their phones, their SIM cards,
Mm,
or maybe they will have problems buying something. I know that as a host candidate, I could serve as help to them, to my
mhm.
other co-candidates and the ecosisters. Because, I come from here, I know um, everything about this country, so I will be able to also extend my knowledge and helping hand towards them. And that's something that, as the sisterhood, something that I really want to do for them.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And I mean, that's actually an excellent point, the fact that you have this knowledge of where everyone is going to be and you're just like used to the culture and the people. And it's an advantage that doesn't just go like your way, as you said, like having access to, immediate access to your team and people in case that you needed something, but you also have the privilege to help your sisters in case that they might need something, in case that they might have an
Yes.
issue. That's a very good point. I like that. All right. So thank you so much for answering some of the questions of our viewers. I have prepared a little game for you. Okay, so you know
Oh,
how
it's
sometimes we make
exciting.
interviews, like we have questions for the candidates and it's a little nerve-wracking. I don't know why, but I always get nervous during interviews, even if I'm not the one being interviewed. So,
Really? How are you do so great? It's not
oh my
noticeable.
God, girl. I'm ready like a tomato right now because I'm always so nervous. But
No.
but here's what we're gonna do. I'll show you some photos and I will ask you to share something that comes to mind when it comes to this photo. It can be an anecdote, it can be a fun fact, it can be anything that you want. It's up to you. Okay?
No.
All right.
Ready?
So here we go with the first image. Wow. Bonga.
Yes, it was very bonga. This was for one of my shoots during Miss Philippines Earth. That goes towards my advocacy for the farmers, like I mentioned earlier.
Yes.
And so this was taken in Santa Ignacia, Tarlac. And in the back, you could even see the farmers there. And the very funny story about this is that when we went there to shoot, of course, we told them in advance. So they were
Mhm.
already supporting us. And we also told the kapitan of that barangay. But these specific farmers, when I went there and when I joined them, they could not stop smiling or
Oh.
laughing because they were
Oh.
just so happy to feel included. They were so happy because my advocacy was for them and it was
Absolutely.
appreciation towards them. And so they were laughing so much that my photographer actually had to tell them, please stop smiling, please stop laughing. Yes, so it was so cute, and I was able to see how I was able to bring joy towards them. And that's why I was like, wow, this is something worth fighting for. This is
Yeah.
my advocacy. And to include them, to make them feel worthy, that was really the greatest honor.
Yes, of course. And you can tell, just look at the person here in the back. You can
Yes,
see
you
the
could see
smile.
them. That was going on throughout the whole shoot.
So cute.
It was
Okay.
so
So I'll show you the
cute.
next photo now, and you can tell me anything that you would like about it. All right.
Oh, yes. This is
Pasabog.
my most recent. Yes, my most recent pasabog. It is so amazing. Actually, I want to say that this shoot was about the proper waste disposal,
Mhm.
especially in plastic and especially in the ocean. But I
Yes.
don't know, for some reason, there was a lot of comments saying, hopefully she disposed of that properly.
Oh,
Of course, it was disposed properly if it's about that. So that's my caution. That's my warning to people who are seeing this picture. Yes, it was disposed properly. That was the whole point of the shoot, actually.
sometimes people come up with comments that I don't know, they just make me laugh.
Yes, same. We were just like laughing while we were replying to the comments, like, yes, these were all recycled. But yes, this shoot was conceptualized about how a lot of animals, in the marine biodiversity, especially the whales and the sharks, they get drowned because there's actually a lot of plastic inside of them,
Yeah,
which is so bad for their health. And some of them get washed up in the ocean. And you can see the
exactly.
nets on them. You could see some plastic stuck on their faces or their bodies. And this is so disappointing because we really have to clean up our oceans. Let's not pollute them because it affects the marine biodiversity there. And here in Miss Earth, for this year, the theme is Me Loves Fauna.
Mhm.
So it's about all the fauna all over the world, all over the earth, and how we have to take care of them. And by taking care of them, this will lessen their extinction rate
Yeah,
because it's so sad to say that a lot of this marine animals they do suffer extinction rates because of the plastic that are in the ocean. So let's lessen that whenever you're at the beach. You could also extend a helping hand. You can clean up and make sure that it's all disposed properly.
yes, of course. That's such a beautiful message. And I think this is, I feel like also this photo represents what I love so much about Miss Earth. I mean, just
Yeah.
look at this beautiful photo, which of course it could be like in the cover of any like international magazine, but at the same time, it holds like a very important message, what it represents, it's so important. It goes beyond just beauty, right? So I love that.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Oh,
Oh, this was my fauna attire during Miss Philippines Earth. It
mhm,
was for the white-winged flying fox, which also faces some extinction rates because of deforestation, loss of habitat, which is why here I showcased it.
mhm.
Actually, when the pageant finished, there was some memes. They said that it was a lamok, which is a
Oh,
mosquito. Yeah, which is so funny. I really enjoyed, the memes because it's a laugh.
yes,
Even though this is a bat, I could see how might think it was a mosquito.
but you look
And,
beautiful. Super, super
oh, yes,
pasabog.
yes,
And at the same
very
time,
much.
I just love the humor in the Philippines. I feel like we have that in common with Cubans. We make fun out of everything, literally everything,
Yeah,
even our own problems.
yeah, oh, yes, definitely. We could relate here in the Philippines.
Thank you so much. I think we have two more. So the next photo,
Oh,
looking
this is
super,
my
super maganda.
homecoming. Oh, thank you. Salamat. This was during my homecoming in Tarlac, also in Santa Ignacia as well. So this float. was made for the parade. It was made by my Mayora, which was so supportive during my whole journey. And that's why they told us like when you win, you have to come straight back home. Go to your homecoming. 'Cause, they prepared this whole parade for me. I was able to see the other Tarlac queens as well. And yes, I'm very colleague there because oh, that was just so happy because especially where I come from in Tarlac, the people there are so happy. I mean, we all know that the Filipinos are very happy people, but even
Yeah.
in Tarlac, they have such great hearts there. They're so happy, and I was like waving to everyone, I was like saying hello, and they were like, yes, they were even doing this too. And when I would do it back, they would start screaming.
So cute. I mean, I'm guessing that this must have been such a beautiful feeling, especially after working so hard to represent them fairly, during the pageant, and then going back home with the crown and everyone's cheering for you. What an amazing moment, right?
Yeah. It was so amazing. It was so heartwarming. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to cry. They will ruin my makeup.
So beautiful. And the very last photo, but not least, I mean, super important still. Here we go. Uh-oh.
Oh, the coronation thing with a kiss. Yes, this was last August 6th. And I'm just so happy to be standing with these amazing women. I am very happy to see that I was so close towards them. I was so close with them during the pageant, and to see that we were the last remaining five. I was like so happy, and I'm so proud of these girls. So proud of myself to finish this, and now I'll be representing the Philippines. And this is such a happy moment. Standing here
Absolutely.
as my co-sisters.
Oh, it's such a proud moment. You did amazing during the competition. All of
Yeah,
you did.
thank
I
you
mean,
so
all of the girls.
much.
Sending love to all of the girls.
You two sending all my love to them.
All right, so that was it for our little game. So we're gonna go towards the last part of the interview. Although I don't want to let you go, I'm having such a great time with you. Please just stay
Oh,
here on
me
the panel forever.
too.
Okay, so I'm just gonna ask you in a few words if you can tell me, we as pageant fans, what can we expect of your Miss Earth journey? What is yet to come for Jenny Rand?
Yes. Will expect me to be a lot better for my Miss Philippines Earth stint because now we're working even harder in
Mm.
all aspects of training. So really expect the most. Expect for me to be happily screaming the Philippines on stage and doing all the competitions because I'm really preparing so hard. I want to make you all so proud.
And I'm sure that you will achieve exactly that because you seem to be in the right mindset, you have the right energy, so it's just going to be incredible. Um, Now, this is also a very important question, in my opinion. Um, can you tell us why is Miss Earth so relevant still in 2022?
Yes. Well, I think that in any year or any time as time goes by, this earth will be so important because environmental problems and is always going on because of climate change and global warming. There is so much to talk about in Miss Earth, and with this platform, we have the full ability and capacity to talk about it, to raise awareness towards it. And there's so much people in the audience from all different races, ages, genders, and we need to raise awareness towards this so to really spread our message about the importance of taking care of the environment. And what people in the audience could take away is the simple ways that they could do it themselves, and they could learn how it affects other countries as well. And so Miss Earth will always be so relevant.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. I actually agree. I'm a huge fan of Miss Earth, of the entire system, of the entire purpose of the pageant. So, 200%, I'm on the same page as you.
100%, yes.
And now, the very last question that I have for you, which I think it shouldn't be a surprise when it comes to this question, but it's kind of like a pageant standard at this point. So, Jenny Ramp, can you tell me why shall you be our next Miss Earth 2022?
Well, even at a young age, I oftentimes found myself distressed with the current state of the earth. But to be called on as Miss Earth 2022 just allows me and gives me the chance to continue the legacy that the last Miss Earth queens had. And it gives me the platform to truly share what I can do as a queen, to truly show and share the awarenesses that we are all facing here in Mother Earth, here in this environment. And it gives me this chance to truly showcase the Philippines and to be the best version of myself. And so,
Absolutely. You know what? Coming into this interview, of course, I had already watched all of your Miss Philippines Earth pageant journey. I followed on your social media as well to stay in tune with everything that you were doing. And it's funny because when you come into an interview, you already kind of have like a preconceived notion of who you're going to talk to. But I'm always constantly amazed by the girls, their personalities, their charisma. And something that I'm taking away from this interview with you is your energy. You have such a positive, radiant energy that I really enjoyed. And as I was
thank
telling you, I always
you.
get so nervous during interviews, but you made me feel at ease. And I think that's a gift that you have. So use that for your pageant. And of course, I'm wishing you all of the best, all of the success that you deserve. And, just keep working hard. Don't doubt yourself. And if you need anything, just let me know. Okay?
Also, thank you so much. Thank you for all the sweet words. Thank you for giving me this chance and opportunity to have this interview with you. Definitely so glad to be here. So, as I said,
It's
I'm so
been it's been
happy.
a pleasure. It's been an honor. So Jenny, please tell our viewers where can they find you on social media and how can they support you on your journey?
Yes, well, thank you to all the viewers who are watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you want to follow me and stay updated, you could follow me on all of my social media platforms. I have, anything Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I have all of those. So, and they're all the same name. It's just Jenny Ram. And I also encourage you to follow the Miss Earth Philippines page. It's at Miss Phil Earth. So you could see more updates on me, my journey, and yeah, my journey towards the crown and Miss Earth. So also, of course, follow Miss Earth as well, and you get to see the other candidates and what they have to offer, and you get to see our whole journey during the competition.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Right after the interview, I will link everything in the description down below, you guys. So if you want to go and follow, you will find all of the links right there. Thank you, Jenny, so much for joining me, for your time, for being such a light. I had a blast with you, and I hope to see you
I
very,
would
very
love
soon.
to. Oh my gosh, yes, I want to invite you to come and watch our pageant, Miss Earth. So you should definitely be there.
I'm gonna try my best. I promise.
Yes, yes, yes.
Of course. Well, thank you once again, and thank you everyone for watching us and staying until the end. We'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Bye. Take
everyone.
care.
Bye bye.